Yes, welcome. And we finally reached 10,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody that subscribed to us. Absolutely fantastic. What can I say?
Woo!
And celebrate.
We decided to take a road trip and ride the North Coast 500.
Let's see how we get on. So we're about to head off for Scotland. As usual, we are overladen with kit. We're trying a few different things out for a bigger trip that we've got planned for next year. So we'll probably can a few more things than we would normally do. We're going to try out these sheepskins. I'm trying a sheepskin on my bike. And Deb's trying this knobbly thing on her bike. We're going to see which one works best. So are we ready to go?
See, look, I can still get in.
Are we ready to go?
Oh, it's so hot.
Have we got enough stuff? I mean,
No.
is there a sink in there? 'Cause,
Bucket.
and there's just, we're definitely going to need to pare down for the main trip. Because
Those sleeping bags were the worst. They were bigger
oh,
than a
bloody
tent.
sleeping bags. Look at all the crap you've taken. I mean,
What do you mean? A tent? Pillows?
yeah, that's the two things over there. And then
My clothes? Your clothes?
seems to be an enormous amount of stuff.
Food. This is full of food.
Oh, we didn't need to carry that much food, probably.
It's so hot.
So off we go. And can I just say at this point, the only reason I stalled is because all the bloody stuff I got stuck on the bike.
Yeah, right. So our route on day one was from our hometown in Shropshire to Motherwell, which sits between Edinburgh and Glasgow for a grand total of about 260 miles.
Off we go. So first, so we head up towards Warrington on nice empty roads, and then we've got to get on the god-awful motorway. I think we'll do a bit more camber work when we go through the lakes. Even on the motorway, the lakes is pretty, isn't it? You know, for the hills. Thankfully, when Mike finally gave up the ghost, it sounded truly awful, didn't it?
Thank God for that.
Yeah, I know. At least I was quiet now. Now this bit is my favourite bit of the M6. You're going up near the lakes, up on the way into Cumbria. I think it's really pretty. You've got the hills dropping down below you, and it really is very aesthetically pleasing.
It is, and no traffic jams. Hardly
No.
any cars on the road.
Very true. I mean, once you
Oh,
clear
yeah.
Manchester, it's fantastic, isn't it? So once you've got the peaks and of course Cumbria out of the way, it's only a few miles before you get the Scottish border.
Woo!
I know, but it's a celebration there. Bit of a fist pump from Deb, I think. In 3, 2, 1, go fist pump, Deb.
Woo woo!
Once over the border, you pass through the Trossachs. They're the only mountain range in Britain that sounds vaguely like a swear word, but you don't quite know why, do you, Deb?
No.
But they do. Ooh, me sweaty Trossachs. Seriously though, it is really pretty. Very scenic areas to pass through. Finally, after hours of riding, hours of painful riding I might add, we finally reached the outskirts of Motherwell.
We stayed at the Bentley Hotel.
Don't be fooled by the name though, it really wasn't that posh, was it?
No, but it was comfortable and we got a really good night's sleep.
That's true, even though there was a wedding going on downstairs, it was really quiet in the upper rooms.
It was, and the breakfast was really good. Our first Scottish breakfast.
It was fine.
Hey, gravel. It's bitter here.
How was that?
Tiring.
It's a long day, isn't it?
But we're here. That's a big chunk of our journey.
260 miles of, it was quite hard, well, I mean, it was tough, wasn't it? It was very warm.
Yeah, it was off the motorway, wasn't it? Because it was stop, start, and it's heavy
Yeah.
traffic. But once we got past Manchester, it was really good.
Happy days, really, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I think the mistake we made, we went too long before we stopped the first time.
Yeah.
In terms, not in terms of miles, but in terms of time, really. So we'll make a note of that.
Yeah.
So what's the plan for tomorrow, Deb?
Okay, so we've got to go to the other side of Inverness, but we don't want to go the boring way, so we're going to go via Loch Ness.
So how far?
It's the bottom of Loch Ness. It's going to be, what did I say, 96 miles? Oh, no, 115 miles, I think they said.
150.
Yeah.
It's going to be 160 odd miles by the
And,
time we've
yeah.
done it, I think.
Or
Something like
It
that.
might actually be 150 miles. Yeah.
Thereabouts.
And then, yeah, a few more miles on top of that to get to the campsite.
So hopefully we should have, we'll get out nice and early tomorrow, get breakfast and hit the road.
Okay.
Day one done. Day
Bye.
one done. Okay, so it's morning number 2, and Deb's the lady with the plan. So
We're going to come from Motherwell and head towards Loch Ness.
Yep.
So we're going to come along this road. But
Yep.
instead of going along the normal touristy route, because it's going to be
Bloody
mega busy,
tourists.
we're going to turn right at Fort Augustus.
Yep.
And then we're going to take this little track all the way along here. And then here, instead of going inland, we're going to head towards the shore. And it's a single track with passing places, apparently.
Which is
all
okay
the
for
way to Dawes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lovely beach there where we can stop and get a good view down the loch. And
Get
then
some
we'll
pictures,
head
yeah.
on to Inverness and our campsite for tonight.
Total distance is about 150 miles. isn't it?
150 miles to Fort Augustus.
Oh, really? So.
Augustins. Gustus,
So
yeah.
It's going to be.
And then whatever Loch Ness is, because they do the marathon round there, don't they?
So it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Yeah. Probably another 50 miles or more.
Yeah, maybe a bit less. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be another big day then.
Yeah.
But then.
But it's going to be pretty, them going this way inland and then cutting across.
On the bright side, though, we actually get to the start
Yeah.
of MC5. So it's taken us 2 days from where we live to get to the start of the thing.
Yeah. I know.
It's a bit
Tiring.
daunting, isn't it? Okay. Let's see how we go. Cracking traditional Scottish breakfast. How's the diet going?
Not so good. Okay, so we arrived at Motherwell late last night. We were well rested, well fed, and now we're onward to Loch Ness in search of the Loch Ness Monster before arriving in Inverness tonight. Woohoo!
As we're getting ready, it's interesting to ponder that we've got well over 100 miles to go before we even start the thing.
It's going to be one hell of a trip.
Well, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing road that we have to travel on to get to Glasgow.
Well, don't get used to it because it's going to be single track roads from now on. It's a quick ride around Glasgow and then on to Loch Lomond.
Loch Lomond, or literally the Lake of the Elms, forms a natural boundary between the Highlands and the Lowlands of Scotland and can be very much regarded as the gateway to the Trossachs National Park.
Well, that's very interesting, but all I know is that the roads around Loch Lomond are very twisty and brilliant fun to ride on.
Yes, they are indeed. Well, until you get stuck behind a transit van. That really ruined it for us, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
The loch itself's just over 21 miles long, and this is the first time I've actually ridden down this side of the loch, and I really did enjoy it. It's a fantastic bit of road. But it's really difficult to overtake because it's so twisty, and I imagine in the summer with all the camper vans around, it'd be a right pain in the backside actually. But we soon leave Loch Lomond behind and we begin to climb up into the Trossachs. And the one thing you notice is you're definitely heading north and climbing because it's getting colder and windier as we go.
The Trossachs are an area of wooded hills, glens and lochs that lie to the east of Loch Lomond, and the area remains popular with walkers, cyclists and tourists.
And motorcyclists.
Oh yeah, definitely motorcyclists.
Just look at that view there.
And look at those black clouds too. There's a lot of rain ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so it turned out as we turned onto Glencoe with the first drops of rain. And those drops of Nov multiplied bloody quickly, didn't they?
Too right they did. Time for waterproofs?
Yeah, definitely. Well, just as soon as I've completed my heroic overtake. Oh, and you blasted past on your big powerful motor, of course.
Glencoe is a U-shaped valley formed by an Ice Age glacier and is about 8 miles long.
Not that we can tell, because on the day we passed through, we couldn't see a bloody thing, could we?
No, it was very misty.
It wasn't misty, it was absolutely piddling it down, wasn't it?
And windy too.
It was horrible.
Why are we pulling over at this point? We've got our waterproofs on.
Yes, we have, but unfortunately the GPS is starting to pack up on my phone because nothing is charging. Turns out water's got to the charging systems.
Yes, my phone charger never worked properly again.
One interesting and very Debbie point here is while I'm struggling with my gloves and trying to get the electrical system fixed, Deb is lining up for a selfie.
It's the only chance I got.
Yep. Oh, look at me smiling.
Yeah.
Right, come on. Ooh. Yes, it's really well. You know, it's a great shame really, because Glencoe is one of the most spectacular places, maybe even on the planet, to go for a bike ride.
I know, but we were more interested in getting to lower ground and getting warmer.
It was freezing up there, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Still, this last bit though, on the way down, really twisty. It was quite good fun. Even in the rain, I have to say I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful road. Bright side, we get to ride this road all over again on the way home.
Hopefully in better weather. It'd be really nice to see the mountains properly on the way back up, wouldn't it?
It would.
Near the foot of Ben Nevis, you'll find the Commando Monument. This is where the Royal Navy Commando Forces came to train during World War II.
Honestly, I can't think of a more fitting place to put a monument.
So we've made it to Loch Ness, looking for Nessie. There's a ripple in the water. Could that be Nessie? No. Okay, but it's wet as hell.
Loch Ness, and our first of many single-track roads of the journey.
Pretty one too, giving us the occasional glimpse of the loch.
Well, at least it would do, except it was raining.
But we could still see it look.
Couldn't fly the drone though, or actually get off and have a good look round, could we?
No.
Not far to Inverness now, and our first campsite of the trip. Just hope this rain stops. We arrived at Buntry campsite in Inverness. The weather was terrible. They said we could pitch a tent anywhere. But when the rain eventually did ease off, we were able to pitch a tent right at the front next to the river.
And what a view we had. So after a bite to eat, we went for a walk and look what we found. They're seals.
Seals.
They're seals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Baby
Yeah,
seals.
baby seals, yeah.
Faces are seals. I wonder where the mum is.
I don't know, she's probably gone
Probably
out
out there somewhere.
fishing.
She catches them, then
Yeah.
she's out fishing. Look at them.
Wow. We did, yeah.
So anyhow, we have made it to Inverness finally after a very, very wet day.
Yeah, the start of the North Coast 500.
We're now at the start. We're
After
already
2
soaked in all the gear
days.
soaked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hopefully
through the
that-
mountains
yeah.
today, as you probably would have seen, it was properly miserable, wasn't it? But
Ben Nevis, Glencoe.
yeah, it's not the worst we've ever seen up there.
No.
Certainly wasn't the best, that's for sure.
No.
But we made it through. We had to pitch the tent up in the rain, so the pitch is not perfect, it's fair to say, I think.
But
It's all a bit moist,
Mm-hmm.
but we're set up.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful evening.
This is a
Sun's
beautiful
out.
evening now. Probably
we've-
rain tomorrow
yeah.
again.
And we've seen some baby seals, which we nearly trod on because it was so disguised and camouflaged on the rocks.
Yeah. Until they made a noise, I'd have just kept
Yeah,
walking
it's like,
towards them like an
whoa.
idiot. You know. Unbelievable. So there we go. That's the end of day 2. Tomorrow is the North Coast 500 proper day
On
1.
to John O'Groats.
John O'Groats.
Yeah.
The most northerly point. It isn't actually the most northerly point, but according to the tourist trail, the most northerly point in Scotland. Farewell. Look out for part 2 of this series, where we'll be heading up to John O'Groats.